Obstetric Anaesthesia, documenting an epidural. If you have a patient on labour ward that requires an epidural, in order to document the insertion, you'll need to find your patient. You can do this in a couple of ways. One, you can search for the patient using the search bar within PowerChart. Alternatively, you can go to the maternity whiteboard, ensure that you're on labour ward, find the delivery room and the patient in question, and then you can enter their records. I will be using my test patient. So once you open the patient records, you will be presented with your doctor's view. You will need to access the menu and choose Assessments, Fluid Balance. These are called iView bands. These are a collection of tools where you can document various types of monitoring as well as documentation. Epidural can be found in several of these different I-bands. The one I would recommend that you use is the Adults, Lines, Tubes, Drains, Device, Stoma iView band. So when you click on this, you may see that there are other things that may be useful for us as well, such as peripheral IV access. In this case, I'm going to be documenting an epidural, so let's choose an epidural. We'll start with the first step, which is the epidural line. This checkered box indicates a repeatable group. What this essentially means is you create a record within which it collects all the data. You can then create another group of data and you can repeat these as many times as you want. So for example, if people are having multiple lines or repeated epidurals, for example. So let's insert an epidural. So you click on that. We'll choose an epidural and it's a lumbar epidural. Since these are shared, you may find that some of these options may seem a bit odd. Click OK. And what you see there is this first component is grouped together and that these are your repeatable groups. To document your insertion, the white fields, just simply double click on them and you can work your way through documenting what you did. So we're going to insert. Some fields will be tick boxes, some fields will be free text, and so on. You just simply work through them as needed. You can move down the fields by pressing the tab button as well. So some fields will be search fields where you can search for yourself or the clinician in question, like so. As you'll notice, these fields are not mandatory, which means you can document as much or as little, giving you flexibility in what you document. So once you have completed all the fields that you'd want to, you'll notice that there's currently showing as purple, which means the data has not been finalized. In order to commit to the records that you've completed, click on the green tick to sign the record. As soon as you do that, you'll notice that the column has been moved across and the values have now turned black. These records have now been finalized. Now that the epidural has been documented, we now need to prescribe the medication to be given through the epidural catheter. To prescribe the medication, click on Menu. Next to Requests and Care Plans, click on Add. In the search bar, you can search for the levobupivacaine plus fentanyl combination bags. For any medication that is not part of the standard formulary, it may not appear in this first search, as is the case for the epidural bags. So in that case, what you'll need to do is fill in the search bar, then click on the second magnifying glass to search for additional items which will look outside of the standard formulary. The first item is the levobupivacaine plus fentanyl combination that we want. Select on that and click on Done. And now you'll be presented with the prescription window. You can confirm that this is the levobupivacaine with 250 milligrams in 250 mils, as well as fentanyl. Firstly, you'll need to set the rate for your infusion, and then click on the Details tab and choose the route, so epidural in this case, and click Sign. You now need to refer this patient to the Obstetric Anaesthesia task list so that they can have their postnatal review. This will be covered in another video.